Hi guys, thanks for coming to my channel, Life is Love. Welcome to Mommy Mondays. So today the title of this video is called Tips on How I Breastfeed in Public. I just wanted to share tips and tricks that I use to breastfeed in public and what I prefer and everything. So if you're interested in the video, stay tuned. Okay guys, so yes, breastfeeding in public. Breastfeeding in public for some people can be a breeze. It can be like, oh, I'm just gonna, whip it out and feed my baby. And then some people are on the other side where they really don't. They like to stay covered up or whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about breastfeeding in public and what I prefer and what I do and the tips and tricks that I use when breastfeeding in public. So first, let's just talk about that. A lot of people really like to breastfeed naturally without any cover-ups or anything, and that is perfectly fine. I think a lot of people, when it comes to breastfeeding, you have to know your rights. You have to know your rights when it comes to breastfeeding, because I have seen videos of people kicking people out for breastfeeding in places. So you have to know your rights when it comes to breastfeeding, so you don't have to go through any of that when breastfeeding. So that's something to kind of like look at, is the laws when it comes to breastfeeding, which you can breastfeed anywhere and it's fine. Okay, so one thing that I did, especially when my baby was a newborn, was a ring sling. And let me tell you, ring slings come in, they are so handy. Okay, when they're little like that, ring slings are great because they're already close to you. Usually they're like, laying like can you see me, laying like this towards you, so it's very easy to feed them while they're in their ring sling. A lot of the times, sometimes you're out and you're walking about and you can't find anywhere to sit, or your baby is going crazy and you need to feed them right then. You can walk while you're feeding them. Let me tell you, I loved my ring sling. I was so sad when my baby got bigger and I couldn't feed him in the ring sling anymore. Oh my goodness. But I love the ring sling because it is so great. Like they're close to you. They're close to you. They're in the pouch thing, so you're not exposed. You're not exposed or anything if you don't want to go that route. But the ring sling is great. You can walk while feeding them, shop, do whatever you need to do. I also use my ring sling around the house when I needed to feed him when he was that little. So ring slings is a great way to breastfeed in public. So that's something that I really use, is the ring sling when they're newborns. Okay, so the next thing is either using a blanket or a breastfeeding cover. Now, a lot of people don't like to cover up their babies because they're like, why should my baby have to be covered or anything when it comes to breastfeeding? And I totally understand that. My first son would not deal with no blanket over his head. Okay, he was like, no mama, it's not happening. I mean, from the time that he was a newborn, he never liked a blanket over his head. So blanket was not used. I was not using a blanket with him. And he would use the breastfeeding cover sometimes too. So, but the blanket was out of the question. So, with the breastfeeding cover, I feel like the breastfeeding cover is a little bit better than the blanket. But if you have a blanket and that's all you have, you can use a blanket to cover your baby when you feed in public. But I feel like the breastfeeding cover is so much better because you put it around your neck, and usually you can tie it however you want to. Put it around your neck, and it has like a boning in the neck part where it's out, and it's not like, you can look down at your baby and your baby doesn't feel like it's getting suffocated, like it's all tied in. Like I feel like with the breastfeeding cover, the baby has room in there. So it just is, like a canopy over them. That's it. It doesn't feel like a blanket is right over their face. So I like the breastfeeding covers way better than a blanket. So you could try that. So yeah, those are great. I love those. So that's something I did use. I don't use it as much now since my baby is bigger. But I do have one if I ever need to use it. And I used it all the time. I used to use it all the time. Okay, so another thing when it comes to breastfeeding in public is your clothes. So I find it better to wear shirts that have somewhat of a loose neck. Like if you wear a shirt that's tighter around the neck, you're not going to be able to pull the shirt down or anything like that. That's kind of harder. Some people do pull their shirt up, which I have a trick for that in a second that will help with that. But if it comes to wanting to pull the shirt down, you need to wear a shirt that is a little bit easy to pull down. Sort of like, you know, this shirt right here. It's not too low, but you know, if I needed to feed, it's easy to pull down right here. But something that's not so tight around the neck. It could even be, you know, I have shirts that comes right here and they pull down. So yeah, you could do that. Just nothing that's too tight around the neck. It will be hard to get your shirt down to feed your baby when you're out in public. Okay, and another things are looser shirts. Now you don't always have to wear a looser shirt. I just find it easier to kind of like be able to get there faster when you have something. Sometimes when your shirts are tighter, you kind of gotta and you know, usually when your baby is crying and want milk, you gotta be fast. So I find that wearing looser shirts is easier to get to your breast faster to feed your baby with looser shirts. I find that easier. But if you need to wear a more fitted shirt, it's fine, or whatever. So let me go to the tip that I said about shirts coming up. Okay, so what I used to do, and I still do, this is my trick that I use all the time. I use this when the baby's little up until now. So I wear like a shirt. It can be a tighter shirt or a looser shirt. Most of the time, like I said, it's so much easier to just have somewhat of a looser shirt. Not like big shirt, but you know, some room in it so you can have your up and lift. But I wear tank tops under my shirts. Some type of tank top or anything like that. And then when I go to lift up the shirt, I'm covered. My stomach and back, all that is covered, and I'm able to feed my baby and not feel exposed that way. And also with your shirt, when your shirt is up, you can use your shirt as a little bit of a cover, and it won't cover your baby's face. It'll just cover your breast. So I use that everywhere. Like, that's my main thing right there. I've been doing that since my first time breastfeeding with my first son, and that, I'm telling you, is amazing. Yeah, so those are the things that I pretty much do in public. How I breastfeed in public. Breastfeeding is like I always say, the best thing for your baby, and we're not always home, and we have to feed our babies out in public, you know, a lot of the time. So, you know, you do what's best for you, whether covering up or not wanting to cover, it's for you. But yes, you know, breastfeeding is amazing. So don't let being out in public scare you when it comes to breastfeeding. It becomes normal after a while. If you're, you know, just starting out, and mamas that's been breastfeeding for a while, you know, you have learned your tips and tricks too, and it all works out and you're able to feed your baby. Happy mommy, happy baby. So yes, that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you like it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, yes, please subscribe so you never miss my videos. I put up 2 videos up a week now. And I do have an Instagram page for this channel. It's called Life is Lovable, so I'll leave the link down below so you guys can check that out. And yep, that concludes the video. So I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.